useful for diagnostics or troubleshooting or just seeing what your sim is up to.
Do some leg raises.
So notice that
Strap.
this limits our scope quite a bit, and every event name we see here starts with the word internal. Any event in SEM that starts with internal is basically an internally generated event that comes from SEM and applies to SEM. So you can use this particular filter to find things like agents going offline and coming back online. You can see connectors starting and stopping. You can see internal stats like internal commands that were run recently. You can see this manager monitor info, which is basically an hourly print of all of the different database and partition sizes, queue sizes, etc. So it's very useful for a lot of diagnostics and just making sure your SEM is working properly. It's also very useful to find error messages and things like that. Below that, we have one here called New Unmatched Connector Data, which you don't currently have, which is good, because generally you don't want to see anything in this filter. What the New Unmatched Connector Data filter is for is if you're sending data to your SEM that's getting parsed by a connector somewhere, there is a chance that data, that particular event even, isn't getting parsed properly. Okay, so it could be that you have the wrong connector configured, but it's trying to read it anyway. It could be that the manufacturer decided to introduce a new event that we haven't coded into our connector yet, and it's not able to parse that particular string of text. Okay, there's a few different reasons why events don't get parsed like that. But suffice to say, if you see anything under this new unmatched connector data filter, you're probably going to want to do a couple of things. First thing is to make sure your connectors are up to date. We do connector revisions constantly. We're introducing connectors all the time. So it's possible that this has already been identified and resolved within your connector revision. To do that, you can pop under the settings and verify that you are automatically updating, or just do a manual connector update. Do this updates tab at the bottom. If your SEM has web access, you probably want to leave all these automatic updates on, both the allow automatic updates for your agents, as well as the connector updates. This way it will check itself every 24 hours and make sure there's no new revisions of the connectors out there. If it is, it will update itself automatically. You can also just force a one-time update and it should say it was started, and eventually it will successfully updated your connectors. Okay, that would be the first step. Assuming that didn't work and you're still seeing unmatched data here, the next step is simply going to be raise a case with our support team and let them know that you're getting unmatched data, and they will want the process of collecting a report that contains those unmatched events, getting over to them, and they will have that sent over to the connectors team, who will make the appropriate revisions to that particular connector. Okay, last filter we'll look at is going to be this rule activity filter. This one is very useful for rules when you configure them with your SEM. So obviously the rules are there for correlating events and issuing an appropriate action. But this rule activity filter is here to identify which rules have fired, when they fired, what the things of the rules were, what the parameters were, etc. So it's very useful to see what your rules engine is up to, what's been firing recently, and what's firing frequently. And you can use that to gauge how many you're firing, use it to troubleshoot, lots of other things you can use this for. Okay, now that's out of the way, let's go to this middle section. Right at the top, we can see that all of our live data is streaming. You can see new events stream in real time. That's because the live mode is enabled by default. If I were to stop this, it would stop the stream of the flow here, and I would be able to scroll down, have a closer look out without it jumping out of my way. And you'll see on the top left that it continues to increment a number up here. This is all the events that have come in after I turned off the live mode, so you know what's still getting data. Let's turn it back on and we're back to real time. I can click on these events.
Decent, it's a new workout.
Sidebar, which is the detail pane, and we can see all of the details of this particular event. Now, when an event comes into SEM, goes through the parsing process, it goes through the connector, parses it into the